elements of the job. Please put your hands together for the founding partner of Gboyega Fatimilehin and Co. in the person of, no, that applause is still very low. I think we can take it a notch higher. A rousing, warm round of applause for the founding partner of Gboyega Fatimilehin and Co. in the person of Mr. Gboyega Fatimilehin. A well-deserved standing ovation and rousing round of applause.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my delight to be here today to share this moment with you. A few of my colleagues in the profession would have thought that our theme would be something like valuation. But we chose to look at the one that is more urgent for the economy today. Scaling up the real estate sector. I'm just going to make a brief comment on the topic of today. We have erudite people who are to dissect these issues, even in a deeper dimension. Abraham Maslow in 1943 paper said that in the theory of human motivation, described the most basic human being needs that require for survival are food, sleep, water, and shelter. Once these basic needs are met, the next level of need is safety, in which housing continues to play a critical part in terms of protection from physical harms, stable and secure environment, and freedom from fear and anxiety. I think we have a good share of that in Nigeria today. People just in their homes are there and murdered, and we don't know what to do with it. Housing is very much important. It is one of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the SDG 11, which is focused on making cities and human settlement inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. SDG 11's overall aim is for a sustainable human settlement where all people have access to safe, affordable housing and basic services, where the environment is protected and enhanced for future generation, not for our own. Some people pass this to us, so we will have to pass it to our generation to come. Indeed, it is this future generation that we need to be mindful of. In fact, I think much more of them than what we have now. The United Nations projects that Nigerian population will reach 400 million in 2050. That's barely less than 30 years from now. So we would have doubled the estimated level today. Specifically, it is estimated that 61% of this population will be under 25 years of age by that 2020. If there is no urgent action that leads to provision and ownership of housing for these future generations, there are serious implications for Nigeria's economic, social, and environmental fabric. There are no answers will continue to come. So we need to do something to make this restive column satisfied. In Nigeria, we do not have a definitive estimate of housing deficit that needs to be breached today. But the World Bank estimates that is 22 million units as at 2021. And that this shortage is concentrated in the area of affordable housing, housing segment and the industry, which impacts the low and the medium income earners, particularly. This estimate of the present level of housing supply into the market today is about 100,000 units annually. However, in case we may have to make, a case can be made that this is overstated by our own estimation in the Gboyega Fatimilehin Company. When we did our own survey, it's less than 70,000 units. According to some estimates, to breach this current housing deficit, Nigeria needs to produce about 1 million housing units every year. And we are producing less than 100,000. And we are increasing the demand by potentially more than 1.5 million every year. So, you know, it's a difficult task if you don't tackle it now. A well-functioning housing market is essential for a healthy economy, as we have seen all over the world. It is important for prosperity of the nation. Adequate and affordable housing is addition to improving and providing safe our citizens, also that leads to increased productivity and better quality of life. If you don't have a place to sleep and wake up in the morning, you can't go to work and produce very well. Earlier, I'd mentioned that 60% of the 400 million people that will live in Nigeria in 2050 will be under about and under the age of 25 years. Without a commitment to the required national development, including housing, this young Nigeria will become bigger candidates of jackpots. And this is something we have already stated and Nigeria. We see a lot of them going, and it has created a lot of gaps within our industry. And this trend is accelerating daily. So we see that housing development and provision is something that must take a very, very serious position in our mind and in the mind of our government. In addition, there are other structural issues that must be added to funding. We must develop the entire upstream value chain for housing locally, from conception, where we design adequate and affordable designs, to building materials provision locally, and actually try to nationalize the Nigeria economy instead of everything we have to import. To construction details, and those people who work in construction industry. Around Lagos every year, we have an influx of almost 1.5 million workers who come from the neighboring states to work. And they take the plum of the jobs because they are trained to do our tiling, they are trained to do our ceiling. We don't have training school, we have to train them here. Those are things that should call for attention. It is self-evident that there is demand. We must find a way to enable that demand, get the product. That is the key. And then we must work all the way on the issues. Because if the issues are not worked on, we just mouth it, we are going to find out that we will have no movement, as it has been in the last 40 years or so. There is this concept of American dream that has always excited me when I read about it. Has been a key part of American culture and identity for many years. It is a promise of a better life for oneself and their family. And often referenced as part of this dream is owning a home and also attaining financial success and starting their businesses. I now ask, where is the Nigerian dream? Housing can help to deliver this dream. It is an important driver of economic growth, creating jobs and income through construction, development, and associated industries, like our own industry. The bigger bigger the slice, the better for us. It is the store of wealth and the means of asset accumulation for households. The multiplier effect, if we get it right, can be immense because of the increased economic activity that can create demand for goods and services, stimulate demand in other sectors, and get generated tax revenues for government. There is the maestro musician in Nigeria that I love to listen to very much. One time he sang that that is, home ownership is the foundation of wealth. So it is my great prayer, and I'm pleased to introduce our key speaker today, Mr. Narayan Sami. We call him Rupan for short. He's a distinguished expert in housing finance with deep knowledge of housing markets globally. Rupan was the pioneer MD of Malaysia Mortgage Refinancing Company and a consultant to International Finance Corporation and the World Bank. And he's worked globally all over the world in this area. He has actually worked in Nigeria. He worked on the Nigerian mortgage refinancing scheme. But what is left for us there, we can debate it later. I'm personally excited to hear him speak today, and I'm sure he will help us to set the tone for a series of very incisive and productive discussions through today and the course of this conference. Thank you all for coming. I'm delighted to see everybody here, and we hope that we will contribute as time goes on. Thank you very much.